Okay YouTube, this is the next stage in fitting your Automotech mid-rise lift, and at the moment we've connected up the hydraulics on the ramp paddles themselves. We've positioned the ramps in the correct specification from the manufacturer, and we've set out everything in logical order so the cables are out of the way so they don't get crushed on both ramp paddles. The hydraulic cables are fitted and the spacing between the two is the regulation 860mm. The positioning will be fine-tuned depending on where the car sits. I'll do a dummy run with it to make sure everything works okay. Setting up procedure-wise is pretty well straightforward. Each one of the cables is marked with A, B, C and D, obviously, and they correspond to the connections on the ramp ends, and it's kind of foolproof. So if you're struggling at this point, then my advice would be get a professional or seek advice. So that's where we are up to now. I will proceed a bit further once we make a bit more headway, and hopefully, like I say, we'll have a dry run and be able to see the thing operate and check everything is functioning as it should. And going back to the main issue, which was when the item was delivered, we had some damaged wiring on supply. I did contact the manufacturers and they were very quick to either repair or replace the damaged parts, and they came by next day post. So thank you to Automotech for being responsible and sensible in their dealing with my issues, and that was resolved pretty well straight away. Any other help and advice, they're always there to help, and will give you any advice you require. Other than that, as I say, wait for the next stage and I'll show you the thing hopefully up and running and all good. The ramp's been fitted, floor mounted. I was going to just measure up and jury rig it so I could just make sure everything worked, but one thing led to another, and we basically bolted down to the floor. All the cabling's put in, everything's routed just right. There are some cover plates to go over these cables to stop you tripping over them. The original plan was to sink it into the floor, which will still happen, but for the time being, to get everything settled in and get used to it, we've decided we're going to go the route of having it just surface mounted for the time being. So all the terminations are in the back, everything checks out okay, and all that requires to be done is obviously press the up button, the ramps rise. There is quite a few safety features, which is good. The old umbrella valves in the hydraulic lines, so if there is one of the lines gets severed, the valve will actually partially close and let it drop gradually and safely, as opposed to suddenly and obviously dangerously. And you see both ramps come up in unison. This is done by means of a magic eye on one side and a magic eye on the other, and this allows them to stay uniform. So as a review for the ramp, overall very impressed, very well made. The quality of the build, the structure, it's probably over engineered, but then I guess when you're lifting cars up to 3 tons or just over, you can't really be too careful, and you can't really over engineer too much. Looking at the runners, the scissor effect obviously works from that central pivot, and the rears on nylon sliders which just run freely, so obviously keep those clean and clear. When you're commissioning the system in your first use, check all your hydraulic lines are all tight, check them for any leaks. If you do get any leaks, always remember to clean up the spilt oil, simply because if it does leak again or there's other problems, you will not be aware of it, because you'll have a puddle of oil where you already know you've got a puddle of oil. So keep everything clean, keep everything neat, and make it so it's all safe. Generally, my rule of thumb is, if it looks right, it works right. So do it right first time. Any problems you have with it, contact your supplier, which is Automotech, or you can always contact me if you have any questions. Setting up was fairly straightforward. The instruction book was a little bit vague, but we managed to figure it out to synchronise the two and program the level sensors. So there we have it, one Automotech scissor lift mid-rise ramp. I've just got to put the end plates on and finish off, and we'll give you another rundown of it in full use with a car on, so you can just see how it performs under load. Okay.